that's not the case and the whole offensive line is healthy, I mean, I don't think it will hurt anything seeing them on a drive or two in this last preseason game, especially when there's been question marks throughout the offseason.
I'd agree to a certain degree. I'd agree. I think that right now, just with the amount of injuries this team has suffered from, I think it's scary for me because I know it's football, and I know that's a lot of people's stance. It's football. Every time they touch the field, there's a risk. But to me, I'd rather them risk that week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 than them risk that in the preseason. That's my biggest thing. Now, you're talking about a drive or two. I can see it. Like, I can see it, but I really don't know, like, realistically, what does a drive or two do? Like, what does a drive or two do when you had joint practice? You've pretty much been going through training camp. Like I said, there were inconsistencies.
You had one joint practice, though.
Yeah, you had one joint practice, but what is a drive going to do? Like, a drive could be 3 plays. Three plays ain't going to do nothing for us.
But we just want to see y'all together. If we haven't really seen that throughout training camp. That's what you told me. So
yes.
That's what I'm saying. We just want to see y'all.
So it's from a selfish position then. Because you're saying we want to see y'all together. It's not – that to me is not like there's no real benefit of sending anybody out there. If people are locked in to be on the roster and people are locked into their starting jobs, like we know the front 5 is for the offensive line, I don't understand the benefit besides it being a selfish benefit. We don't want to sit through Jack Plummer and Jake Luton anymore.
No, that's not. No, because that's not the position that I'm taking. I understand that I'm going to go into the preseason probably seeing these guys, but at the same time, I'm going to see the same guys for 16, 17 weeks. I at least want to see what y'all look like before we get to the regular season game where that shit actually counts. Like, none of this shit really matters. But can I see what product that we have that we built in the offseason? Can I see us on the field for one drive? Because it's nothing like you actually putting on that uniform, being under those lights with the fans in the stands versus you being at practice, bumping titties with each other without pads. Like I just want to see y'all together, and it's not from a selfish standpoint. It's from a chemistry standpoint as well.
Let me ask you a question off of that, then. Do you believe that the offense is going to start slow during week 1 against the New Orleans Saints?
Yeah, I think so. I think that a lot of offenses are going to start slow.
Absolutely, right? Just because we have historic data that would tell us that's going to be the case, right? So what does that change if they play 1 or 2 drives? Well, the thing about it is it's not going to change anything. Like, if the offense is going to start off slow regardless, there's going to be some chemistry issues because they haven't been in training camp. That's something to me that 1 or 2 preseason drives is not going to be able to fix. And I just don't like the idea of potentially risking an injury to prove that point, to show what's going on.
If a nigga get hurt on the first play, then what the fuck does it matter? If he gets hurt on the first play of the regular season game. And mind you, because you was on this wave at first, what the fuck separates you from Kansas City? Because they back-to-back Super Bowl champions, and I got to see Patrick Mahomes throwing behind-the-back passes to Travis Kelce. So what the fuck separates you from the
different ideology?
The reigning Super Bowl, no, don't have a different ideology because Andy Reid has won 2 Super Bowls in a row. So for anything, you need to be modeling that ideology, not taking yourself far away from it. So what separates you from that?
I think ultimately at the end of the day, it's a health thing. It's a health thing.
That's soft.
And listen, and like I say, because I be in the comments all the time. I've had multiple conversations. I understand that position. Like, I get it. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to hold you. I'd rather err on the side of caution. Don't go out here and dick off and get hurt, and then we're almost back to square one with last year. You pretty much got the same weapons, and you damn near got the same offensive line. Should Robert Hunt or Damian Lewis go down? And I would make the argument that the offensive line will be worse for the first month to month and a half should one of those people go down because Austin Corbett is playing center.
Well, you haven't told me anything that makes me think different that we do got a different offensive line than last year, other than us being on SportsCenter for making this nigga the highest paid left guard in the league.
We'll be okay. I told you that. I told you that they
cool.
Look
you told me that so many times this offseason with the cornerback situation. So we'll be okay. Okay, cool.
We'll be okay.
Okay,
we'll be okay. Y'all probably came on, and it's hard for me to say we'll be okay after y'all saw what y'all saw. It is. Because y'all saw, the 2 worst days of practice, y'all seen them both. Not going to hold you.
With my highest paid left guard sitting in my quarterback's lap.
With him sitting in your quarterback's lap, and then we saw him
from a 7th-round rookie.
Yep, we also saw him, exit practice against the Jets On the cart, he did return. And he was still in full pass, but he didn't take any more reps. But that's why I say it's a health thing, bro. Because right now it seems like, with all due respect, Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis seem to be a little fragile. So, unfortunately,
so that's what we spent our money on.
Yeah,
we can't never get right, bro. That's the problem with this franchise. We can never get right,
and that's a deeper, darker conversation.
Every move seems like it might be the wrong move.
Like I said, that's a deeper, darker conversation, but we just got to roll with it. So, do you feel that way about everybody? We might as well have this inactive conversation now too. We'll just flip it around. Do you feel that way about everybody? Because you're telling me that you want it, like you have to see, like it's like a must that you see a drive or two. Bro, I hate to tell you, that drive or two ain't going to do nothing. When you see Kansas City out there taking a drive or two, it's for Pat to dick off and do shit like you see him do the other day. Throw behind the back passes. They want to run a damn alley-oop on the field. Like, they ain't doing nothing serious. They ain't proving shit.
They going to pull it out in the season.
Yeah, I was about to say, they trying shit that they going to implement in the season. So
they don't got to do the basic shit.
Cool.
Because they do it every offseason.
But a 2-15 team, they got to do the basic shit. We got to start back from the basics.
Yeah, I think it go. I more so agree with Sizzle with Terrence on this, just because like the conversation is more so about the cohesion. You alluded to it earlier when you were talking about like the cohesion up and down through the top to the bottom of the organization, whatever. That needs to be true for especially the offensive line, and a unit where you have to have that cohesion and understanding like, okay, hey, he's about to pass this guy off to me. I'm about to pass this when they're running stunts and twists up front and everything. Like, you have to be cohesive and understand what the guy beside you is doing. Because if you don't, then Bryce ends up on the ground 15,000 times like he did last season.
And unfortunately, just playing against the Jets doesn't really solidify that.
And especially when you got a new left guard, you got a new right guard, you got new positions everywhere outside of your tackles, essentially. Like, you need to get that cohesion going. You gotta get to playing together. Like, yeah, you should see that through the preseason, especially with the brand new head coach too. Well, it's going to be a very slow start. It's not just going to be a slow start. It's going to be a very slow start.
If the whole offensive line isn't healthy, you still want to see the starting offense for a drive?
No, I don't. And that's never the stance that I've taken. But that's why I started off by asking you, as far as we know, are they healthy? If they're healthy. As far
as we know, yes.
If they're
that
healthy,
doesn't mean that is the case.
Well,
I wasn't at practice.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I said, if they're healthy, then I don't think there's no reason that they can't give us a drive or two, maybe even a quarter.
That was my initial stance as well. But then I just, this is what I said the other night when I was live. I say, Carolina Panthers fan base, they wanted an offensive mind. They wanted a young guy that could potentially be innovative, potentially be a revolutionary. And you get him, and he starts doing unorthodox things, and then it's a frantic panic. But it's just like, do you want to have your cake or do you want to eat it? Like Frank Reich, everybody damn near played last year during the preseason last year, and the argument was, oh, it's too vanilla. Oh, this offense is ass, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Which all turned out to be true.
Yes, that is very true, which all turned out to be true, but it's just like, okay, cool. Well, they were playing last year, and what difference does it make? The offense was still dog shit. The offensive line still looked like one of the worst NFL offensive lines in the history of the game. So, I just don't see what playing in the preseason does. I don't see what it benefits. Like, you can get one drive, you can get two drives. It's not going to matter. It's not going to change anything because week one, when we travel to New Orleans and they're 75,000 deep, and that whistle blows and the new kickoff rule is in effect, either way, things are going to start off slow. They're going to start off sloppy, and then we're going to see all up and down Twitter with Carolina Panthers fans overreacting to, Dave Canales, his scheme, this and that. Well, so it's just like, when it's a double-edged sword.
It's kind of better if it starts off slow and sloppy in the preseason, though. Like, at least have a game or drive or quarter under your belt to where that's something that you can build off of.
I guess. Like, but okay, so answer my question. Is that applicable to everybody? Because, first game is 32 inactives. Second game is 38. So it can't just be the offense then if we're having that conversation, right? It can't be. But, what do you think?
What is your question? Is it applicable to everybody? Like,
Yes,
do I
is
think
it applicable to everybody? Is it a problem that the Carolina Panthers in the preseason have 38 inactives on going into a preseason game? Yes or no?
I mean,
you go.
Yeah, I want to see everybody. Like, if you're healthy, then I don't think there's a problem with you playing.
But that's the thing. We have so many injuries.
That's why I'm always prefacing everything by if you're healthy. Obviously, if you're not full health, I don't want to see you out on the field during a preseason game. But if you're healthy, there's nothing like those in-game reps. You get into football shape, you get into basketball shape, you get into baseball shape by playing the game. And the practicing, unfortunately, you know this. Practice is not like the games. Like, it's just not. Because you're going up against people that you're not practicing against every single day. So shit is a little different. So if you're healthy, then yes, I would like to see you on the field to get in that game shape because you're about to play 17 weeks of football to where it's going to be almost identical to what's going on in the preseason, at least for the first quarter or the first drive, because a lot of people are playing their starters.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think what's more telling truthfully about the inactives than the injuries is more so like I feel like where the Panthers are at now, especially with it being the final preseason game. What we're looking at now, they should have played earlier. You're not going to see the starters play in this final preseason game because
I don't believe so either.
No, you're absolutely that they should have played earlier or that.
No, I'm saying I don't believe that we're going to see the starter. I don't think we're going to see any ones or twos on Saturday against the Bills.
100% you won't because what we're at the point in the preseason now or training camp, whatever you want to call it, where front offices are trying to make their final 53. Right, and you're playing these guys who are in a close, heated competition to fill out the back half of your roster. So what we're going to see this upcoming week is a bunch of back roster guys who are fighting for, quite frankly, like their jobs and as if professional football players. So we're not going to see the starters now, but we should have seen the starters earlier, especially with this being a brand new offense, with this being a brand new offensive line. Now, you say injuries play a part in that. I got you.
Significant part.
I hear
because Deontay Johnson
but
has gone out to practice the past 2 days. Well, actually, he got hurt today. He rolled his ankle today. He limped off the field, missed some time. Then he obviously came back. But before that, it was a mild groin strain. Robert Hunt getting carted off. So it's just like, yeah, nigga, just chill.
I get that. But what I say, I don't give a fuck, right? Because injuries are going to happen throughout the course of an NFL season. So there's going to be times where you're going to have to throw out different lineups. Some twos mixed with ones, some threes mixed with ones, some twos mixed with, like, whatever the fuck.
I'd rather that happen during week 6.
Doesn't matter what you want to happen, like what you would rather happen. It could be a possibility, and preseason right now is the time to throw in every type of different combination you can envision because you know injuries are going to happen, especially even more so with the fact that you're experiencing so many injuries. You have to test out different line combinations because we don't know who's going to be healthy for us at this point in time. And to be painfully honest, there's not that big of a difference between ones and twos and threes on this team. Truthfully, outside of a few positions, there's not that big of a difference between ones, twos, and threes.
I don't know if I agree with that, but okay. Continue if you want. Like,
no, that's it. Like you
there's
no problem with seeing different line combinations.
I don't agree with that. If Deontay Johnson goes down, this offense looks totally different.
At some positions. Obviously, at the quarterback position, Jake Plummer doesn't look nothing like Bryce Young. Deontay Johnson doesn't look like the rest of the receivers on the roster outside of Adam Thielen.
Okay, and would you like to continue the offensive line? The offensive guards,
line, I couldn't tell the difference between ones and twos.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be honest.
And I'm telling you that that's just
I don't know.
not
Maybe
the case.
could you tell the difference?
Yeah, y'all were there for 2 days,
and one was practice that I went.
Right, and one was a upper day. Y'all didn't even see full pass for one day, and one day y'all did. But trust me when I tell you, there's a difference. There is a difference. So damn near everybody on the offense, there's a significant difference. There's a significant difference. If Robert Hunt or Damian Lewis go down, it's bad news. It's bad news because I know we're not getting gassed up off Chandler Zavala being the highest rated PFF, whatever the fuck, in week 1 of the preseason. I know we're not getting gassed up off of that. I know we're not getting gassed up off of Brady Christensen and what he doing. So don't tell me that there's not a significant difference because the difference is significant all throughout the offense. So, yeah, I personally don't want to risk injury in a preseason game for us to see what y'all look like for 1, maybe 2 drives. No, I don't. I'd rather y'all start off slow because I know it's inevitable that that's going to happen during week 1. and then we progressively get better as the season goes on, and I see Bryce Young develop to a top 15 quarterback. That's what I rather see personally.